Here's a head splitter if there ever was one. When thinking about the best cinematic horror sequel that had the impossible task of living up to its all-time great predecessor, which one tops the list?
Many sequels have surpassed their original.
Oh yeah?
Name one.
Dawn of the Dead, Aliens, Evil Dead 2, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors.
Let's get high.
How about Exorcist 3?
Every spectre from hell, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ.
While all are worthy of consideration, given the seismic cultural impact and lasting legacy of Alfred Hitchcock's progenitive slasher film, Psycho, its seemingly unnecessary sequel made 22 years later, Psycho 2, shredded preconceived expectations and delivered a chilling and vastly overlooked psychological thriller that continues to be misunderstood to this day.
Oh, Norman. You're mad, don't you know that? You're mad as a hatter.
In assessing how the movie was made and what went into the production, we'll cover how Universal drastically altered the story from Bloch's literary sequel, why the film was almost released as a made-for-TV movie, and perhaps most importantly, how the slasher sequel stepped out from the shadows of its iconic original to loom just as large over the franchise as any subsequent entry. All that and more when we check back into the Bates Motel and find out what the f*** happened to Psycho 2.
And when he murders again, you will be directly responsible.
Development on Psycho 2 began in 1981.
It's been 84 years.
Shortly after the release of Australian filmmaker Richard Franklin's riveting fourth feature, Road Games.
Did he make love to her first?
I don't know. What's the difference?
I think in order to play the game properly, we have to know what he thinks of women.
That year, Franklin shared panels with psycho novelist Robert Bloch at the Cinecon Film Convention in Melbourne. Following their meeting, Bloch published his follow-up novel, Psycho 2, in 1982. However, the book is much different than the finished film.
Starting to think this isn't a very good book.
See, Bloch's original idea for the sequel was to satirically skewer Hollywood's incessant trend to produce slasher movie sequels to diminishing returns, with Norman Bates going to Hollywood following his release from a mental institution.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
To prevent a Hollywood production from adapting his life story. While the basic premise was used to cartoonish lengths in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back,
$15, little man. Put that in my hand. If that money doesn't show, then you owe me, oh.
Universal was concerned about such scathing criticisms and had to go back to the drawing board and create a more compelling story for their sequel. To do so, the studio hired Tom Holland to write the screenplay. Holland would go on to direct 80s horror classics Fright Night and Child's Play. It's also worth noting that Franklin was hand-picked as a director based on his time studying directly under Alfred Hitchcock.
If you will just lean back and relax, I'll tell you a little ghost story.
In addition to making a set visit to Hitchcock's 1969 spy thriller Topaz, Franklin organized a Hitchcock retrospective at the University of Southern California during his freshman year, where he met his cinematic hero for the first time. Along with Road Games, Franklin's third feature, Patrick, also has classic Hitchcockian elements of tension and suspense.
He's playing dead, or is he?
Deeming him the right man to helm Psycho 2. Believe it or not, Hitchcock's closest American counterpart, Brian De Palma, was actually offered the chance to direct the film, but declined and went off to make Scarface instead.
Say hello to my little friend!
Which, coincidentally, also stars Robert Loggia, who would join the project later on.
As long as you realize that the memories are more likely to reoccur here.
Once the project began to materialize, Psycho's assistant director Hilton Green was approached to produce the sequel. Knowing what a thankless and impossible task it would be to live up to the original, and afraid that Hitchcock would disapprove if he were still alive, Green contacted Hitchcock's daughter, Patricia, and asked for her blessing. Green sent her the completed script by Holland, and much to his surprise, she was enthusiastic and claimed her father would have loved the sequel's story.
He loved it.
It was also Green's idea to cast 80s Scream queen Jamie Lee Curtis as Mary Loomis, based on her mother, Janet Leigh, playing Marion Crane in the original Psycho. With Curtis coming off of Road Games with Franklin, the casting gimmick made sense and would have reunited her with her Halloween cinematographer Dean Cundy. However, after landing a plum role in Trading Places,
Please to help me with my rucksack?
Curtis was no longer interested in making horror movies and focused on comedies instead.
Oh, I'm like the Crypt Keeper!
Even if she were interested in playing Mary Loomis, Curtis's busy schedule would not accommodate it. In her stead, Meg Tilly was cast in the role,
I've been living with my boyfriend for over a year, and all of a sudden, he tells me we're through.
proving to be the most difficult and unpleasant movie-making experience of her career. Speaking of casting, before the reluctant Anthony Perkins was convinced to reprise his role as Norman Bates,
I'm Norman Bates.
Psycho 2 was initially conceived as a made-for-TV movie. Perkins, who originally turned down the role due to the damage his reputation took after the original, changed his tune once he read Holland's script and saw what a meaty part it was that he could sink his teeth into. Once Perkins agreed to star in the film, plans for a TV movie were quickly dashed in favor of a wide theatrical release.
Well, I just figure I could make more money with the motel, once I get it back into condition.
And before he decided to return, Universal had actually eyed Christopher Walken to play Norman Bates.
5 long years he wore this watch up his ass.
The great Vera Miles eagerly returned to portray Marion's sister Lila Crane.
Why bother? It's all too obvious. Our courts protect the criminals, not their victims.
Meanwhile, John Gavin was invited back to play Sam Loomis once again, but he was unfortunately unavailable after being appointed as the U.S. ambassador to Mexico by Ronald Reagan. Armed with a modest $5 million budget, Psycho 2 began principal photography on June 30th, 1982, and wrapped on August 13th.
And when Dr. Raymond showed me Mrs. Bates' corpse, I knew she was dead for sure.
The 45-day shoot took place almost entirely on Universal's backlot, including Hitchcock's favorite soundstage, number 24.
In this house, the most dire, horrible events took place.
Although the original Bates house was reused in the sequel, the exterior was moved to another part of the backlot during production. Meanwhile, the Bates Motel had to be partially reconstructed after the original was destroyed to make way for the Universal Studios tour. According to reports, only roughly 40 feet of the Bates Motel was actually rebuilt for the sequel, with most of the motel's exterior created by a giant matte painting by Albert Whitlock. If you look closely at the screen, Whitlock's elaborate matte painting is on full display. The shot features a camera pan and a rotoscope matte placed over the top of the vehicle as it enters the frame. Brilliant technical filmmaking. Brilliant! Moments later, when Norman enters his house for the first time in decades and has frightening flashbacks to his childhood, his reflection as a little boy is seen in a brass doorknob, and that little boy is actually Anthony Perkins' son, Osgood Perkins.
Oh my God, I get it.
Who has since become a very talented horror filmmaker in his own right.
Knock, knock.
Beyond the iconic Bates Motel and residence, Psycho 2 utilized Universal Studios' famous Courthouse Square set to represent the town of Fairvale. Around the midway point of the film, when the police drag the swamp outside the motel and retrieve Warren Toomey's car, the same set was used from Universal's classic monster movie, The Creature from the Black Lagoon. It would also mark Claudia Breyer's final film role as Mrs. Spool.
I'm the one who urged Mr. Statler to give you the job. I think it's very Christian to forgive and forget, don't you?
I sure do.
Although she does appear in the flashback scene in Psycho 3.
I just hope nothing serious happened to the old girl.
According to lore, the ending of Holland's script was not revealed to the cast or crew until the last day of filming. If true, this was certainly done to preserve the shocking nature of the finale and elicit the most genuine responses from the actors when it's revealed that Spool is Norman's murderous biological mother.
So, are you really my mother?
The woman you thought was your mother was my sister.
To further connect the sequel to the original on a narrative and visual level, the sequel is chock full of recycled props and set decorations from the original film. And beyond the original slasher's famous iconography, Franklin also matched identical shots from both films. Including the instance of Norman entering the kitchen and placing his coat on a chair, the eerie way Norman utters the word cutlery in a drawn-out fashion in the kitchen was the result of Perkins stuttering over the line during a table read and was worked into the script by Franklin.
I just moved back here after being many years away. I forgot to bring any cutlery.
As for Lila's death scene, her mortified facial reaction is shot and edited identically to Marion Crane's shower demise in the original. As for the two instances of Norman playing Beethoven on the piano in the film, Perkins genuinely played the instrument while the cameras rolled. He was a lifelong pianist and accomplished piano instructor, and had no trouble playing the music on cue.
Hallelujah, come on, get happy. You're heading for the promised land.
Sticking with the music, the legendary John Williams was considered to compose a score for Psycho 2. Instead, the great Jerry Goldsmith was hired based on his longtime friendship with Bernard Herrmann, who famously composed the original movie's unshakable string arrangements. Goldsmith conducted a theme for Norman Bates that was discarded and later used for Twilight Zone the movie. According to Franklin, Perkins was very generous on set, and the two had a ball working together. Franklin also spoke glowingly of Vera Miles.
It's just Bates up to his old tricks again.
Sadly, the same can't be said for Meg Tilly,
I had to do something. He was going to arrest you.
who got along poorly with both Franklin and Perkins. In addition to finding Franklin difficult to work with, Tilly wasn't privy to Psycho's massive popularity before entering the project due to being disallowed from watching movies and TV as a child.
Do you think I should call him and talk to him again?
While on set, Tilly wondered aloud why Perkins was receiving so much attention from the cast, crew, fans, and press, unaware of the impact that he had playing Norman Bates. Perkins apparently overheard the innocent question, became outraged at Tilly, and stopped talking to her during the shoot, and even demanded that she be replaced with another actress after half of her scenes were already filmed.
Norman, stop it. This is not your mother.
Despite her critically lauded performance, Tilly called her experience making the movie the worst of her career and did not attend the premiere for the film in June 1983. And for those wondering, a nude body double was used for Tilly when Mary exits the shower. As for Mary's fate, the original script indicated that she survived the gunshot and would physically recover. However, she ends up going insane like Norman.
Why, she wouldn't even harm a fly.
Indeed, despite his best efforts to reform, the final shot of the film sees Norman posing atop the stairs outside the Bates house at dusk, implying that his psychotic insanity has returned. When Franklin voiced displeasure with the marketing posters for the movie, editor Andrew London suggested using the image for the one sheet. London also created the tagline, "It's 22 years later, and Norman Bates is coming home."
Norman Bates is coming home.
Released on June 3, 1983, Psycho 2 became an unexpected box office hit. The movie grossed $34.7 million against a $5 million budget, earning back nearly 7 times its cost. The film also performed better amongst critics and general audiences than anticipated, and it has gained respect and appreciation over the decades. In 2025, Psycho 2 holds a solid 67% Rotten Tomatoes rating and a near equivalent 6.6 IMDb score. Quentin Tarantino has often cited Psycho 2 as one of his favorite films, and one he prefers to the trailblazing original. The success of the sequel led to 4 additional franchise entries. including Psycho 3 in 1986,
I'm letting it lie, and so are you understand?
Bates Motel in 87, and Psycho 4: The Beginning in 1990. And finally, Gus Van Sant's shot-for-shot remake of the original in 1998.
Boy's best friend's his mother.
While none live up to the first two installments, Psycho 3, directed by Anthony Perkins himself, comes the closest, and we highly recommend it. It's a great time.
Why can't you leave my poor son, my Norman, alone?
All in all, 42 years after it was released, Psycho 2 still holds up incredibly well and deserves recognition for living up to the original film's name. It may not eclipse the technical craft and sheer shock value of the original slasher movie Forerunner, but given the monumental task of making a sequel that fans could enjoy and Hitchcock could be proud of, the film certainly does its job. And that, my friends, is what the f happened to Psycho 2.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.